Mature content warning. This computer software contains content that may be unsuitable for some players, including depiction of violence, sexual conduct, abuse, rape, mental illness, murder, discriminatory language, and suicide. This work does not in any way endorse or affirm criminal acts or violations of human rights. By continuing beyond this point, the user agrees he or she or they acknowledges the above, does not find such content described above offensive nor obscene, and is requesting this content as in good mental health. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Horrifying and I'm usually a streamer on Twitch, but today we're here once again on a pre-recorded video playing the next episode of Hashihime of the Old Book Town. Last time we left off, I think we just met Minakami, and then Minakami left with a promise of a date watching Dr. Hyde and Mr. Jekyll. Very exciting stuff, but without further ado, let's just get into the game, shall we? I went back to leaning my face against my hand and watching the scenery blurred by the rain outside. I was bored. Not really bored, I just couldn't muster any strength into my sluggish body. But I urged myself on, grabbed a feather duster, and wandered around the shop. Suddenly, I felt like I saw Kawase through the bookshelves. It was definitely the image of the moment he dug his cigarette into my manuscript. Oh, he haunts us all, doesn't he? Then, clear as the day, I saw Kawase's vulgar smile. Apparently, I really was having a hard time dealing with his harsh criticism. I looked away from that moment and plopped onto the floor. I loved the art on this game, honestly. It was annoying. Way too annoying. It would have been better if a complete stranger had said that to me, but I would have to keep facing him tomorrow and the day after. There was no way I could run from him now. I was the one who asked for his critique. As a writer, all I could do was continue spewing out stories. A writer? What sort of writer was I, if I couldn't even satisfy a single person? Kawase holding me back was the reason I never considered taking anything to a publisher. You know, what do you mean not a single person? I thought Minakami liked your stories. Also, you shouldn't get a feedback only from one person. That person could just have poor taste. You never know. There was probably nothing I could create that would ever captivate him. I would probably never be able to write anything that would make that guy smile and tell me I've done a good job. That is a red flag, honey. Do not go with that guy. Kawase is not the one for you. Go with Minakami. I set my glasses on top of my head and used the palm of my hands to rub my closed eyes. Whoa! That's pretty. Stars scattered behind my eyelids and unusual sparkling patterns formed. Pretty! When I opened my eyes, the area had transformed into a strange blue dimension. Is this real? I don't think it is. Oh, cute! When I happened to look forward, I found this guy standing in the rain. Cutie! Drops dramatically bounced off the leaf he was using as an umbrella. He seemed to be slow thinking, something over his head while he held his breath in his stomach. It was as if he had made up his mind about something. Kudasai! Why does he sound like that? That was all the frog said. Dameda. Well, knowing how normal Tamamori is reacting, this probably isn't real, right? By the way, this kind of thing happened to me quite often. Well, if it's imaginative, that's great. But if you're like seeing actual yokai, some call it great, I would say it, Not really the best thing in town. I've had the ability to see strange things for a long time. Are you saying this is real? I don't know. Except there wasn't anything supernatural. Okay. It was an illusion produced by my subconscious. Imaginative head, I can relate. Not to this extent, but I can relate. Honestly, there was a part of me that was a little disappointed this hallucination was only a frog. It's always like that. If his form had been more grotesque, this scene would have been... Blah blah blah, I can't read today. This scene would have been much more dramatic.
Hey, damare.
Damare. Ugh, I love it. Go away, Frogman.
お前はあの日あの時あの橋で殺されたのだ。それに気づかぬ愚かな異形よ。
I don't feel like this is all just natural to him. I wonder what people actually see while he's doing this, like him just talking to himself. Well, that's not the first thing we've done. All universe speaking in their room alone, you know? Yeah.
さあ、成仏しろ。
Yeah, that wasn't so bad. It was strange. No matter how poor my creations may have been, in the moment they seemed brilliant. They look brilliant, look at it! When I asked Kawase about the phenomenon, you'll call it narcissism derived from arrogance. How about you buy Kawase a mirror? It was definitely arrogance. Those stupid eyes, those short legs, that nervously trembling body. I was starting to find the hallucination somewhat amusing. Suddenly, I was no longer myself. The main character was... Oh? Right, the owner of a used bookstore, by all appearances, but he was secretly a medium. It was a setup that made me think of a certain someone. But whatever. Like, the owner of the bookshop? Cool. Main characters should be refined, composed, and make him look like an intellect. I do agree, glasses do make you look smart. I think it's short like me.
Ora.
A hickish word? What is a hickish word? I don't know. The frogman's eyes opened wide when he looked over Haruhiko, the shopkeeper. Taking a direct hit, he sank into the opposite wall. Oh my god, I totally can't read today. Okay, it's actually kind of cute now. I like it. It kind of reminds me of what's that anime? That old anime, the Frog Gangs? I don't remember. That one. Editing me, show it.
おかえり願おう。ここは君の来る場所ではない。
I love the voice acting, honestly. Beautiful.
ひどい。僕はただ本が読みたいだけなのに。
君にジンゴが読めるかね？
読めないから読むんです。そうして学んで、僕も人間になって、あの人間に。
So, you acknowledge that you're not human?
あの人間とは。
ナノ人間と。Who? Oh, the tears the frogman cried turned into nourishment and replenished the moisture in his body. Blop. He rolled off the wall and took the defensive, turning his eyes tinged with rage towards Haruhiko. The frogman skillfully manipulated his tongue and began to push books off the shelves, one by one. Haruhiko's attacks at blocks were in vain as the tongue suddenly pierced through a bookcase. Books rained down from the falling bookcase. However, the decision Haruhiko made in that very instant was even more surprising. Oh my god, that's so pretty. Is that Haruhiko? Haruhiko doesn't seem like that before, but...
あの
Look at me. When I suddenly snapped out of it, I was lying on the floor, grasping a pen. Before me was a manuscript I was in the middle of writing. Perhaps I was writing before the ink could dry. There were several letters smudged to the left. Apparently, I had been a little overzealous. You know, that's a really great skill though. To be able to write. You noticing and write, you just immediately writing whatever pops into your head. That's an amazing skill. I counted the scattered manuscript pages as I gathered them up, but I was missing the first page. When I happened to turn around, a man was looking down on me, concerned.
大丈夫ですか?
大丈夫ですか? Another one bites the dust. Well, there's another bachelor. Fresh out of the oven.
ええ、大丈夫です。私は無事です。
無事です。
無事？これ、足元に落ちていました。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。He was still standing there.
何か？
何か？
ごめんなさい。
ごめんなさい。Oh my god, he's the timid one. He jumped back and put some distance between us. He looked at me and scratched his eye patch as if he were embarrassed. He scratched the eye patch? Okay, that's a weird way to feel embarrassed, but okay. Once I got a better look, I recognized him. He was a customer who always come in the evening. That meant that half a day had already passed. I let out the directional sigh. The man seemed to misunderstand and jumped a bit.
君は作家さんなんですね。
作家さんね。
何か文句でも？ええ、そんな。落ちている原稿を少し読んでしまったんです。
Honestly, Tamomori, if he's not with Kawase, he's a menace. Like, what's with his attitude?
悪気はないんです。ただ目について。すみません。面白かったです。
Well, ain't he nice? See? You got a reader that likes your story.
それでこの私に何をですか？これをお会計してもらいたくて。
In his hand was Kyusaku's Dogra Magra. Isn't that the book that Minakami left? Don't remember. Damn Minakami. He had ended up shoving it into the bookshelves after all. I was right. I just remember Dogra Magra and Minakami for some reason.
それに関してお題はいりません。でも結構真新しい本ですし。いいんです。欲しいなら黙ってもらってください。
いいんです。Honestly, Tamomori, even if like you don't like the book and it was not really yours, Minakami's the one put it, but it's still money. Just stick the money.
ありがとうございます。それじゃあご好意に甘えて。
What an overly dramatic guy. I would describe that more on Kawase, but sure. He continues to stand there, nervously wringing his hands and biting his lips. I slipped past him and returned to the register. He looked at me as if he still had something to say.
何なんですか、さっきから。
何なんですか、さっきから。
すみません。
すみません。I kind of like this dynamic though. They're kind of cute.
6時には店を閉めますよ。物々交換というのはどうですか？
Ooh, what you gonna treat me with? Hmm? So that's what he decided to say? He slowly opened his bag and pulled out some sort of goldfish watering can made of tin? I didn't expect him to place by the register with a clunk. Is that it? The pink one? The pink thing? Huh.
僕、ブリキの収集が趣味で、
Not to the point where you carry them around, though. Right?
ごめんなさい。気持ち悪いですよね。いきなりこんなこと。ごめんなさい。
Sorta. But you're cute, so it's fine. Don't
ご
worry.
めんなさい。気持ち悪くてごめんなさい。
Okay, you're saying sorry too much. It's a cute thing for first few, but now to this point, it's just getting annoying, babe. Chillax. It was creepy. What I was thinking must have gotten through him. Once he calmed down, his face turned red and he ran out of Umebachido. The only ones left were me and the goldfish watering can. What was that about? I let out a sigh as I looked into the goldfish's pretty eyes, and the sigh, though, was unrelated.
鬼人だな。
Kijin dana. Kijin? I feel like I heard that word somewhere. Well. Anyway, I managed to finish a short story about a heroic battle unfolding between a used bookstore owner and a yokai. I gathered the bulky manuscript and looked over it fondly. But for some reason, my face began to fall as I turned each page. Suddenly, it seemed boring. Oh, the writer's curse. I figured Minakami would definitely enjoy it, since his tastes were closer to my own, but I mostly wondered how Kawase would feel about it. Yeah, he should probably avoid showing it to Kawase. I turned the manuscript over and put the ink bottle on top as a weight. It was something like a gut feeling. For some reason, my suddenly cool fervor made my heart felt as though it was crumbling to pieces. I wondered why. This was the first time I ever felt this way. At that moment, the cuckoo clock sleepily struck 6. It was closing time. The rain was coming down even harder, and it was cold. I wondered if it would turn into snow. Facing out the sound of the rain, I closed the doors, then looked around the shop once more. In the end, the only customer today had been that man with the eye patch. Well, it could be someone else just take a book while you were like lying down and writing. But he hadn't really bought anything, so I had no money to turn over to the shopkeeper. Actually, I never earned more money than what the shopkeeper gave me for food. That was another reason that Umebachido was a mysterious shop.
玉森くん、私は先に寝るよ。
Like, yeah, where do we earn the money? I don't know. Also, yeah, the shopkeeper have a very stark resemblance to the story guy that he was playing with the frog thing.
帰ってきていたんですか？
ええ、2時間ほど前にね。声をかけたじゃないか。
そういえば。
So yeah, he was probably not paying attention while he was writing. I'm back. Get away! It's dangerous here.
何かと戦っていたのかな。
I looked at the shopkeeper. Like, does not phase at that what he screamed.
それじゃ、おやすみなさい。
Oh, yes, minasai. The light clicked off.
私は風呂屋に行ってきます。
うん。風邪をひかないようにね。
As far as I could remember, the shopkeeper had never pressed me about money, not even once. In short, this place was heaven to an unscrupulous person such as myself. Man, the shopkeeper sure is nice. Even though it was only 6 o'clock, the sky was totally dark thanks to the rainy weather. Everyone was deep under their umbrellas while I was freezing under my black mantle. Should have at least worn long sleeves, but I ended up foolishly picking out a short-sleeved dress shirt, so I was freezing. People who were weak to the cold were gathered at Sarugakucho's Kikai's Bathhouse. The old man passing me by smelled unreasonably of yuzu, which I think is some type of orange. Once I'd gone through the dressing room into the bath, the place was filled with nothing but old and middle-aged men. What looked like an old woman's head bobbed among them. I took my place in the middle as I watched the old woman's head sway away. What? Does Bathhouse in, like, old Japan, like, mixed gender? I mean, cool, you know, progressive. Speaking of old women, keep up with your studies. Oh, the grandmother you left out in the country. Oh, Minagami, we missed you, babe. I recall Minagami's words. Damamori's story. It's a little late, but here's some background on myself. My father and mother died when I was young. Right before I was born, my father was attacked by a bear and died. Okay. Then when I was young, my mother disappeared from our village. So your mother didn't die, she just skedaddled. After that, I had lived with my grandfather and grandmother, just the 3 of us. But last year, I found out my grandfather had passed away. My grandmother was my only blood relative left on this earth. I felt like my grandmother and I were connected by some sort of spiritual power. If there was anything I wanted to eat or anything I desired, she knew exactly what it was and gave it to me right away. We were connected. Well, maybe not quite. The connection was only a one-way thing. I knew nothing about her. Even now, it felt like my grandmother was watching me from somewhere. The old woman turned around. It was an old man. Of course, an old woman would be hanging out in the man's bath. Okay, so it's not. It's still direct. What's it called? Segregated by gender. When I turned around, my consciousness drifted towards the Bathhouse Fuji that reached all the way to the ceiling. When I heard the Bathhouse Fuji, which was found in any old bathhouse nowadays, originated from Kikai's Bathhouse, Fuji's healing waters and steam from the bath mixed together, making me feel like I was partaking in a purification ritual. Sure. It was a picturesque view no man could ever grow tired of seeing. When I happened to look over at the group of bathers to my side, they were turned away from that view of Mount Fuji, exchanging hushed whispers. I cocked my right ear to listen in for no reason in particular. Oh, it's so cute. They're so cute. Their silhouettes. I love the hair of the guy in the middle. Did you see? Did you hear? What? About the giant of Jimbocho. Giant? He was over 6 feet tall. Another one burst in. He doesn't use an umbrella. And he wears a funny mask. As soon as I spotted him, he vanished. He's weird looking. Is he a monster? Or a ghost? I see. Oh, interesting. Maybe he was a silent street performer for a new kabuki show. Or maybe some sort of promotion for a new motion picture? That earthquake earlier must have been from the giant's footsteps. I forgot that's the young man. Idiot. Baka! No, it had to be. He had a pretty active imagination. Said the guy who just imagined... Sorry. Just said the guy that was just like imagining a whole ass battle with a frog. You know, Tawamori, self-reflection is a good thing.
Huh? Nani?
Huh? Nani? Oh my god, I love Shota.
その話、 詳しくお聞かせ願いたい。
They fell silent after looking at each other a few times. They snorted. And then they showed me their cheeky, giggling faces.
バカ。
Baka. Oh my god, even the children have good voice actors.
な子供の話にマジになってんじゃねえよ。
Janelle. I love it. It also reminds me a lot of Kazuha.
どういうことだ。
どういうことか? They instantly cracked up hard enough to shake the bath. When I glanced around, everyone was staring at me with that look in their eyes. What? It was like I was the one made a fool.
おい待て。うるせえ浪人生。
Roninsei. What's a Roninsei? A student who failed their university entrance exam and is currently studying to take it again. How does he know? How does he know?
なぜそれを。
They distanced themselves from me in a train-like procession. I mean. Seriously, the brats around here didn't know how to behave. If they were innocent children, they would have wanted an adult to listen to them. They would have glad to have told their story. How dare they make fun of an adult and insult the ambitious title of a Roninsei? An annoyed groan escaped from between my clenched teeth. When I came to my senses and looked around, even more cold stares were focused on me. Not good. I sank down up to my nose into the tub and hid myself as I made my way to the corner to corner. Without cooling off from my bath, I headed straight back to Umebachito and promptly faced my manuscript. I ignored the frogman's manuscript and was going to dive right back into continuing the phantom in the basement. But, as expected, I couldn't get the rumor I heard from the brats in Kikai's Bathhouse out of my head. He doesn't use an umbrella. And he wears a funny mask. I figured it was a promotion for a show, but somehow it was spot on. The phantom in the basement would curl up his large body in the cellar where he lived. See, you also have an imaginative head, my kid. Then night after night he would come up to the world on the surface and abduct someone on the verge of death. He had no interest in those trying to live. He would suddenly disappear when he had been seen, because he could sense that person's force. Life force, I mean. Can't read. Just what were the phantom in the basement's motives? Well, it's a long story, so I'll explain later.
思念というものがある。
What? Haruhiko, why are you here?
Haruhikoさん。
The moment I sensed a presence, my hallucination, Haruhiko-san, was sitting right beside me. I would love that power. On his shoulder was the frogman, who had shrunken down because his spiritual powers had been subdued.
何かね。
何かね。
いえ、ただどうして。
筆が止まっているのはなぜかと思って出てきた所存だ。
Sure. My hallucinations were talking to me now. I really must have been tired. I thought about keeping quiet and letting it pass, but he began to thoroughly read my manuscript.
勝手に読まないでください。
うん。この怪人、確かにさっきの少年たちが話していた怪人とそっくりだな。
聞いてたんですか？
聞いてたんですか？
思念に姿形はない。思念とは感情と認識だけで形成されている無形の存在だ。
Isn't he like just talking to himself? By this point?
だから何の話ですか？
How can you not know? He's literally you.
ここは何の町だ、玉森くん。
神保町、本の町です。
本とは空想、空想とは無形、空想は思念に通ず。君が地下室の怪人を描いたのは偶然ではない。
どういうことです？
どういうことです？
怪人という無形の思念が 一人歩きしているのだ。
Walking around on its own? If that was the case, did I get that idea from somewhere?
つまりは玉森くん、そう深く考える必要はないということだ。
With those last words, Haruhiko-san suddenly disappeared. What was he thinking? Had no idea. My hallucinations were something born from my subconscious, but up until now, I don't think I ever had a hallucination leave me with words I could not understand. You understand, honey. It's just like deep inside you. Reach out. Think about it, it was pointless. After all, I probably understood it subconsciously. Exactly. You know, I love that Tamamori-kun is like very, very self-conscious about whatever he's doing. For the first time in my life, the idea of having a pen in my hand seemed awful, so I laid my futon. I stretched out my hand and to turn off the light, but I couldn't reach it. All I ended up doing was illuminating my hand, but eventually gave up and shut out the light with my own eyelids. I would try to use my feet. You know, they're longer. It had been raining since morning. I gave my goldfish its food, but he was facing away from it as usual. Inakami once told me its a fish's sense of smell was better than its vision, so eventually he woke up from the smell of his food. Afterwards, I opened the shop and revised my manuscript next to the register like I usually did. For a while, I heard the shopkeeper's breathing as he slept, but once noon rolled round, I finally heard the sound of a futon being folded.
店主、おはようございます。
Ohayo gozaimasu.
おはよう玉森くん。朝からご苦労様です。
I suppose if a Ronin-sei made scribbling noises and muttered to himself all morning, anyone would think he was studying. Honestly, if the shopkeeper figured out all my hard work was actually bullshit, I'm sure a lecture would be inevitable. I twirled my pen, feeling a little guilty.
今日も体調が良いので少し散歩してきます。留守をお願いしますよ。
で、
いつもすみません。
え？
客入りが悪いのは私のせいです。
well.
売り上げの心配をしているのかい？
すみません。
I tried to act as distressed as I could, so she opened slightly and I'll drop a single yen. Man, the shopkeeper's really nice.
これで美味しいものでも食べて元気出しなさい。
I can't live in 2022. Like, you can afford a lot with 1 yen, 1 single yen. Crazy.
店主。
風邪だけはひかないようにね。
はい。
Shopkeeper nodded in relief, and I heard the back door open and he left. It's not like I wanted money, I was just pretending to be a poor man for the sake of the shopkeeper who wanted to perform act of kindness. Sure. With the money saved up, entrusted to me, I could buy Copspi, a manuscript, ink, and even go to the Bathhouse. The Copspi is a milky... Oh, it's basically Copis. It's Copis, but it's spelled funny. It was a happy cycle that didn't hurt anyone.
そこで何してるの？
Oh, hi babe. Still hate you, not really.
川瀬、来てたのか。驚かすな。障子に話しかけるなんて、君もとうとう末期だね。
I love his smart remarks though.
店主だ。店主に話しかけていたのだ。
姿を見せない不思議な店主。ね。本当にいるなら合わせてほしいよ。
どういう意味だそれは。
どういう意味だそれは。Are you saying that it was from my imagination? Then again, we do have similar hair. But then again, it doesn't make sense if he could have like a whole bookstore on himself. I don't know. Seeming to lose interest, Kawase grabbed the goldfish watering can.
何これ？
何これ？
いい年してブリキのおもちゃって。また変な趣味を見つけたね。
It was a gift, bitch.
お代の代わりにもらったのだ。欲しいならやるぞ。
いらないよ。必要ないものはゴミと同じだ。
Yeah, honestly, even I thought it was trash.
だがその金魚上路と同じくらい不要な本だったのだ。
不要な本。児童書なんてあったっけ？
Hey, children books is actually really good for growing up the child's brain to you know, as like, what's it called? I can't remember the word. But it's really good for letting your kids read in an early age. Trust me.
ドグラマグラ、夢の旧作の最新刊だ。
悪趣味な子供だね。
いや、買っていったのは24、5の男だった。
大人？玉森くん、それ騙されちゃってない？
Well, you just gave me a watering can and give it the book for free.
だから別に構わん。ドグラマグラだって水上が勝手に置いていったものだし。
じゃあ、ゴミだけ残ったわけか。
Though when I got a better look at it, the goldfish watering can did have cute eyes. The pattern looked hand-painted and it seemed like it would have some warmth to it and start swimming at the moment if you were to touch it. I think that only works when you have such imaginative brain like Tamamori. I was starting to feel bad about calling it trash over and over again. You should! The guy with the eye patch had really seemed to treasure it. He had raised this little guy with all his love. When I snatched it back from Kawase, I stuffed it into my pocket with the intention of warming it up.
うわ、もう大事にしてる。
勝手だろ。
そうだね。人にはいろんな思考があるからね。
Wasn't that sentiment a little too late at this point? Without asking, he snatched a manuscript next to the register and began to slowly walk around the shop. When he finished reading a page, he discarded it like a girl playing He Loves Me Not with the flower petals.
おい!
Oi!
ああ、失礼。今日も京都で羽のように軽い原稿だ。
原稿を汚すな。後で水上にも読ませるのだぞ。
あいつは文字が書いてあれば何でも喜ぶさ。それこそ結核患者の日記だって喜んで読むだろうね。
Don't be like that. Also, I think a diary of tuberculosis patient would be quite interesting to read, I'm not gonna lie. Kawase discarded one page after another as I crawled after him, picking them up. When I happened to look up, he was staring down at me coldly. Ooh.
これってもしかして、みかん?
Of course it is.
書ききれなかったのだ。
また不完全なものを見せようとしたの?
First of all, I didn't show it to you. You took it. You took it. How dare you?
勝手に見たのはお前だろう。だから私は今からそれについて説明をしようと。
Tamamori, you don't have to explain yourself. Look at this dynamic though. Like Tamamori becomes so timid near Kawase. I mean, I understood why, but you know.
君の取り柄はバカみたいな執筆の速さだ。どうも信じられないな。
That is true though. He writes really fast for like the frog thing. He let go of the last page, then went past me and headed up upstairs.
おい、待てってな。
I crumpled another manuscript page under my hand. It must have looked so pitiful. I gathered up the manuscript pages and brushing the dirt and rain from them as I went. But the frogman was stepping on one of them.
おい、どけ!
The frog's face is so fucking funny. Frogman was looking at me in shock at the staircase Kawase had finished up. Ugh, what a stubborn and stupid hallucination. I blew out a puff of air and then he turned to dust and disappeared.
おい、Kawase!
When I finally caught up with him upstairs, I was surprised to see he was standing there quietly. My newest manuscript, the story about the used bookstore owner and the frogman, was in his hands. Oh, he looked great here, bro. Now I kind of want to make this into the thumbnail. I don't know, we'll see.
Amazingly, Kawase wasn't discarding it. He was speed reading it thoroughly in his usual way. The silence was so deep that it felt like I could even hear his eyes move. Every once in a while, his mouth would open in astonishment and his breathing would become shallow. I held my own breath as I watched him. No way. There was no way. Had I finally been able to tug at his heartstrings? My throat tightened with a slightly premature hope and sense of accomplishment. You know, it's a good thing the music wouldn't be like this. Just saying, just saying. Desperately swallowed it down and waited for him to speak. Finally, he let out a sigh.
これって俺のことか
What? How so? It's nothing like you. Haruhiko's nothing like you. Are you the frog? The frogs look nothing like you too, though.
え俺とあいつのことだろ
Ooh, backstory time?
え
Drama. Him? Who? This guy who? Well, he actually said this guy. At any rate, I couldn't figure out why he was smiling.
一体何を読んだんだ
Serial killer. I told you from the first episode that Kawase is a freaking serial killer.
何ってここにあった原稿だよカエル男と古書店店主のお話だ
だよな
So, who did he mean by me and him? I could see his dark nature through his usual smile. Suddenly, the ground shook. Another earthquake? It was an earthquake, even I could tell this time. But Kawase's gaze didn't move an inch as he continued to look at me and smile.
このカエルは自分が死んでいることを知らないかわいそうなカエルだでも無理ないよねまさか死ぬとは思わない
And why is this suddenly turning dark? I forgot this game is actually supposed to be kind of like horror shit.
橋から突き落とされたとしても下は川だから
That does not explain anything.
カエルは水生生物だ元ある世界に投げ出されて死ぬわけない
Do frogs like live in a river? I'm confused now.
私は死んだと思った
Suddenly, my memories flew from my mouth. Kawase's story! Finally. Other people's background. A long time ago in the country, I saw Kawase drop a frog from a bridge. Okay. The frog, knocked around by the harsh wind and rain, had fallen quietly, soundlessly, into the river and floated away. I thought it had died. Thought he'd killed it. Come to think of it, I had a feeling Kawase had looked at me and smiled that day too. Serial killer! I told you! He's a freaking serial killer!
にゃそういえばそんなこともあったな
And Tamamori, you just like googe up his first kill. I don't know.
その気持ち悪い笑い方やめろっつっただろ
The nyahaha thing. It's pretty funny.
にゃ
The story ended up with the frogman becoming the shopkeeper's. Oh my god, don't tell me. In the beginning of the frog story, it said it was a great schooler. Don't tell me that. God, the game went frozen for a moment. I thought it was gonna crash. Even though it was a story that overflowed with I'll say carefully and thoroughly apart and throw it away without reading to the end. Okay, you shouldn't do that, but sure. I could have said hey or stop or wait. There were plenty of things I could have said to stop him, but I just watched. Actually, I felt this was punishment I deserved. I felt as though it was better that only the manuscript was bearing the brunt of his rage. Of what? The story I don't know. Even though we were friends, even though we could joke around with each other. I understand why he was so mad about this, like... There were times that Kawase scared me. Me too, girl. Me too. In that moment where I was even too afraid to breathe, I realized something. Wow, they just like discarded all the freaking scary storyline before.
君こそ裸足じゃないか。足が汚れるよ。
意味がわからん。いいから布団から足をどけろ。
Don't gotta do it, I see it all.
はいはい。
Kawase said as he sat down on my desk beside the window and looked outside. I could tell from his eyes that he was in a bad mood.
なんなんだお前。おかしいぞ。いつもはもっと。
Blandly snide with me, right? Kawase kept his face turned away as he continued speaking, his words limp.
そもそもなんで俺が君の批評を引き受けたか。
Because you like me? Mm?
わからないか。ただ君、そういうところあるから気をつけた方がいい。
That side of me?
現実と空想がごっちゃになってる。困る人もいるんだよ。
Did I upset Kawase? What he had just said was pretty serious, so I was starting to feel kinda bad.
なあ、すまない。許してくれ、川瀬。
Kawase's gloomy face was reflected in the dingy window. He called me and pointed to something outside.
みなかみが来たみたいだよ。
みなかみ
Save me! Super awkward and super tense.
どうしたんだ血相変えて。
Yeah, I was about to get killed.
別に何も。それよりほら、この前の続きの原稿だ。
おお。
Minakami's face relaxed as he immediately dove into the manuscript. At that point, Kawase came down and Minakami gave him
久しぶりだな、川瀬。
久しぶりだな, Kawase.
いや、久しぶり。
They kind of have a similar hairstyle, just a little touch bit different. Kawase wasn't giving off that mood from earlier. Somehow, even he seemed to be back to normal. However, their conversation, which felt like it was between two strangers rather than friends, made me uncomfortable for a different reason. Who's gonna get Tamamori? I'm betting it. I'm betting.
3人揃うのは1ヶ月ぶりだね。
川瀬も忙しいんだな。
一番忙しいのは水上だろ。
He does looks like a studious person.
俺いや、そんなことはないよ。昨日も今日も顔を出したし、週に3回はここに来てるんじゃないか。
Oh, we totally like him. Come on.
私と川瀬は毎日会っているぞ。
暇だな、お前らも。
悪かったな。
But yeah, I don't know. The game is glitching and like I can't move or do shit. Stop it. Stop with your tail. Okay. The game has been freezing. The server has been freezing. The mic has recording. So even though it's short and for watching. Okay. So as you can see, like right at the end, the video just like super glitches out and I need to end it. And that's why I'm coming you post-editing to end the freaking video. I hope the next time it won't be this bad. I don't know. It was just a mess. But yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully the next episode won't be so bad and hopefully it'll be longer too. But yeah, that'll be coming probably next week. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.